Hey collectors, welcome to Star Wars Collected. I'm Jonathan. If you're new here, I hope you consider sticking around and subscribing. If you've been here before, oh my gosh guys, it feels like it's been forever since I made a video, which it really hasn't been all that long. But look around you, look around me. It's a mess, all right? So we are in our new space. This space is gonna be our new gallery space. I have really no idea what I wanna do with it yet, so that's gonna be an upcoming video. Maybe you guys can help me figure that out. But today we're gonna talk about something which just came in the mail. This is the Hot Toys Chrome Clone Trooper. First of all, this is Star Wars Celebration, and I can't wait to open it up with you guys. All right, guys, let's start with the shipper box here. You know, nothing real exciting on the outside. They never really are. SW2CT. I'm assuming that means Star Wars Episode 2 Clone Trooper. I have been sort of trying to get away from 1/6 scale, just because there's so many and they're all so great. It's hard to really get them all and then get anything else. And I've also been trying to get away from 6 scale, especially that is not a like a human or an alien, because I can have a helmet in my collection and that sort of like counts as my clone trooper representation. But I think a combination of the fact that I was a Celebration and the fact that this just looks so damn cool that I decided to pull the trigger on this one. So I'm gonna open it up real quick. Now, this might seem a little crazy, but I have white gloves. I've handled some chrome stuff before, and some people online kind of recommended, maybe getting some gloves to help with not leaving fingerprints all over the chrome finish. And I thought it made a lot of sense. So I made a little trip to my local hobby store and picked myself up some gloves. So we're gonna be extra fancy during this unboxing and review. Guys, I miss you so much. It is so nice to be back. I cannot guarantee that this is always going to be the backdrop. I hope that you guys still enjoy watching me without all the eye candy behind me. There's a little bit sprinkled here and there, but we're going to make this place amazing. It's going to be so much better than what the original gallery was when a lot of you guys started following me. And if you haven't followed me before, this is your very first time you're here, or you haven't subscribed yet, it's gonna be an amazing journey. So make sure you subscribe and follow along, because we're gonna make a really cool space down here. All right, immediately in love with this. This box looks so cool. The chrome finish on here, I'm loving it. So let's go ahead and get it out of this plastic so we can really see it up close. What have you guys gotten since my last video? That's what I want to know. Hop down in the comments. Let me know the coolest collectible that you picked up in the last month, because I've missed it. I've missed you guys. I missed talking to you. If you follow me on Instagram, Star Wars Collected on Instagram, we've still gotten to interact some and talk about some cool new releases. But this is my bread and butter, YouTube. I love it. All right, check out this box. I mean, how could I have ever said no to this? This just looks so cool. Now, I'm a Canon junkie. I really like my stuff to be in Canon. I like it to be as accurate as possible within reason. The more I get into this, the more I realize that accuracy is sort of a sliding scale, that even props change from one scene to another. So, but this is just a really cool looking figure, looking thing to have in the collection. Now, they're showing you 2 bodies here with 2 helmets. You would almost think like, oh my gosh, are there 2 of them in here? Because they've done that stuff before. It's not. They give you 2 different helmets, and you can choose whether you want the Phase 1 Clone Trooper or the Phase 2 Clone Trooper. Which helmet do you prefer? That's a tough one. Normally I prefer the Phase 2 Trooper. I just think it looks really, really cool. But the Phase 1 looks really cool in chrome. It's got the angles. I think it's partially because it isn't like a pure mirror finish. It is sort of this, gosh, I don't want to say brushed aluminum, because there's not a brushing effect to it, but it kind of has this almost like Beskar type look to it, from head to toe. And it reminds me a lot of when a company will release a concept car. As some of you guys know, I work in the auto industry, and a lot of times they'll release a concept car in this silver paint that almost looks like raw metal or something like that. Never makes it to production, but it's such a cool look. The guns are still done in sort of a gunmetal color, not chrome. I like that. We need some contrast. I actually specifically wore a black shirt so that way that this will kind of have some contrast with me. So yeah, again, there's sort of a gunmetal finish with a little bit of weathering here and there. But then the actual armor on the hands is a mix. So the undersuit is still black, and then you have this sort of chrome finish on top. 2 extra right hands. We have 3 extra left hands. We have the jetpack up here as well. And then, like I said, we have 2 different helmet sculpts. I have seen some people online who have already unboxed this, put some photos on some of the Facebook groups that I belong to. Maybe you found this video through one of those Facebook groups, and they have some imperfections with theirs. So I'm a little nervous to go through this, but we'll get through it together and we'll see how it goes. So what am I doing? I'm breaking my own rule here. It's time to adorn the white gloves. So you see here on Star Wars Collected, we only do the classiest of unboxings with our white glove treatment. Now we'll see. I have enormous hands. Oh, they kind of fit. They kind of fit. Now I have to use these for tea time later, so hopefully we don't get anything on them. Otherwise the Queen will be quite upset. All right, I'm already like kind of stretching them out and putting holes in them almost, but that's okay. So now we can touch it all we want. Very cool, Phase 1 Clone Trooper helmet. Like I said, I normally prefer the Phase 2, but this just looks really cool with all the angles. You know, a finish like this, or like a matte paint on a car or something like that, it needs angles to really show it off. If you do this on an item that's all curves, it's just not gonna show it off as well. You need that contrast to really differentiate how different it is. I'm actually gonna set the body apart just for a moment, and I'm gonna go ahead and get the stand out here, so that way we can kind of immediately stand them up. Ooh, these gloves kind of make this a little bit slippery. All right, got the old crotch grabber here. So we've got the back piece off here. So far, the finish looks excellent. It looks really good. Now, if I was gonna have imperfections, I'd want them to be on the back. So hopefully we can keep this going. All right, we're on the front here now. I think I've got a slight little bump right below his right pectoral, and actually a tiny little one below his left pectoral too. I doubt it would even show up on camera. I'll try to move it here a little bit and see if we can catch any in the light, but it's right here and tiny right there. It is very small though. It is not anything that I would be too upset about. Now, his belt looks more chrome to me than his body. There is sort of a satin finish. That maybe is the word I've been looking for, is satin finish chrome to the upper part of this. But this looks very much, you know, this reminds me kind of the black chrome that they are putting on the Death Trooper. So that is maybe a same finish with a different pigment in it. Arm looks good. Now, I've never gotten a piece from Hot Toys before that had all this extra pieces of padding. So there's a little piece of padding between the shoulder armor and the bicep armor. You know, I'm sure it just has to do with that finish. We are looking really good. So again, little pieces of plastic sort of wedged in here and there. Some of it's plastic, some of it is foam. Okay, so I'm removing all the little pieces of foam here, and we are just going to, you know, give them a little how do you do for the stand and stand them up here. The stand just says Star Wars Clone Trooper on the front. The top has a mirror finish as far as the Republic cog in this situation. And then there's sort of a texture around it. And then just to put it up side by side, I do see a slight imperfection on the helmet there. This would be what the Phase 1 helmet would look like. Like I said, it's sort of a satin chrome. It's very impressive. I'm really digging it. Here's a little bit of the back so we can see it all the way around. This is not normally what I would go for, these sort of, you know, repaint type things, but I thought this one just looked especially good. I'm gonna take a moment here real quick. I'm gonna pose him into some sort of amazing, super cool pose. It's gonna blow your guys' minds. You're gonna be like, what? A Clone Trooper can do that? That's insane. And we'll come back and we'll give myself my final thoughts on it. All right, collectors, so I call this pose the hall monitor. He just looks really disappointed in you. Like you've done something, like, I don't know, you ran in the hallway or you did something you weren't supposed to, and now he's found you and he's just like, son, what are you doing? So, you know, this is obviously not a permanent pose. I'm actually gonna probably have to put him right back in the box just because I don't have a good setup right now to protect him, but I just thought I'd have a little bit of fun with this. So obviously endless possibilities when you have a trooper, and I am far from the best poser out there. But I did swap the helmet on it so you guys could see what that helmet looks like. And you know, I have mixed feelings. In some ways I think this looks better. In other ways, I feel like some of the curvature coming off the bells and things like that on his arms maybe matches the other helmet a little bit better. But you know, we'll stick it with this one and try some stuff out. So, guys, in general, I'm pleased with this figure. The finish that I saw at Celebration came through the final version. That doesn't always happen. With Hot Toys, it tends to happen pretty often, but some of the other 6-scale manufacturers, sometimes you'll see the preview image and then you see the final version, and they don't really look that much alike, and that's disappointing. But this, I think, is great. You know, obviously repaints are always sort of an issue, if you will, out there, but there is some demand for it, obviously, and I think this is a really cool figure. It kind of has a little bit of extra specialness to it. I would actually love to see some version of this in canon, some sort of like Beskar clone trooper or something like that. I don't know, maybe there's a story there somehow, some sort of you know, a clone ends up on Mandalore and then becomes a Mandalorian, and he sort of like has this like hybrid of you know, his clone trooper armor and his Mandalorian armor. I don't know, we'll let the story group kind of fiddle with that. But yeah, in general, I think this is a really cool figure. I don't think you can purchase this at this point from Sideshow's website. I think this was somewhat of a con exclusive, although I do think they did eventually open it up to the general public for a limited amount of time. This is going to look great next to another piece that I have on the way, as well as a piece that I got in a couple months ago now that we'll unbox at some point, and maybe I'll end up with this sort of like metal shelf, you know, it'll be like, you know, I think if you like this figure and you already ordered it, I think you're going to be really happy with it. If you like this figure and you'd like to pick it up secondhand, I think you'd still be happy with it. It's a very cool, unique piece. It feels a little more artistic, and that's probably just because I'm wearing my white gloves that it feels a little more elevated. But yeah, nice looking piece. So guys, we have so much stuff coming up on this channel. First of all, I need your help in designing this space. It is probably 3 times the size of my previous gallery. I need to figure out whether, you know, I'm changing some flooring things. Like I said, there's this like wet bar hidden back there that's got to go because, you know, I love the cantina, but I don't need it in my collection room. And the ceilings are sort of, you know, here I'm 6'7", so right here I got some good clearance, but right here, man, I feel like a bumper car. I'm like an inch or 2 away from that. So I'm gonna need your help figuring that out. And there are a ton of statues, a ton of figures, lots of stuff that are just sitting in boxes waiting to show you guys. So I can't wait to show you. So make sure you are subscribed and you're following along. If you enjoyed this video, please give me a like. If you like videos like this, please subscribe. So much content to come. See ya. It's good to be back. I'm back, baby.